Now this is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the #1 Bears fan.
That boy is Benny Hunter.
Cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
What's going on, Bears fans? Before I get the episode started, I have to tell you guys about MyBookie. This year, I'm betting the football season with MyBookie. When betting with MyBookie, you'll receive a 100% match on your very first deposit up to $1,000.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
Betting with MyBookie this season was the obvious choice for me because every time this happens,
Touchdown Bears!
or this happens,
80-yard touchdown run!
I win. The best part about this whole thing is that you can support the show by using the promo code KOTM. So Bears fans, what are you waiting for? Go to mybookie.ag, use my promo code KOTM, and receive a 100% match on your first deposit up to $1,000 and make it a winning season with MyBookie today. So 3 keys to a Chicago Bears win. I know there's a lot of Bears fans out there that don't think the Bears have no chance of winning. If you think that, you can remove yourself from this podcast. We don't need negativity. Obviously, we like to be realistic, but there's no need to be negative.
Right.
So here we go. Number 1 is keeping Andy Dalton clean and making sure he gets rid of the ball quickly out of his hands. I don't care how bad your offensive line is. Just get the ball out of his hands quick. Try to run the football to the best of your ability. Keep him clean. If you can do that, I think he'll get comfortable, and I think Andy Dalton's good enough to be that game manager for us and just put up, like you said, try to get to that 20-point mark, and I think we'll surprise a lot of people.
Right.
And key number 2, I think the Bears D-line has to come to play if the Bears have a shot at winning. I think the Bears D-line is probably the strongest point of this team. I think that is the one spot where not only do we have the starters, we have the backups as well.
Right.
That, with the linebacker position, I feel like it's loaded right now.
Right.
So if the defensive line comes to play, obviously that helps the secondary. That helps guys like Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn. I think Travis Gibson's going to be really, really good. I think if they come to play, I think it could obviously be a long day for Matthew Stafford. We know him. I know he knows what this defense is about. So I'm anticipating that if this defense line comes to play, the Bears could possibly have a chance to win this game.
See, but at the same time, like I said earlier, yeah, Matthew Stafford knows the Bears, but he don't know Sean Desai.
Right.
He's never seen him call a defense. So there's no tape for that.
Right.
There's no tape to say, oh, I'm going to go watch. That's all you're going to think is, oh, he's a Vic Fangio guy. But that doesn't mean that he's going to call the same shit that Vic called.
Yeah.
You don't know what he's going to call. So the anticipation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's for both sides.
Yeah. And Sean McVay is a genius when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, but he's probably even like, wow, what do I even watch? So I just have to watch all of Vic Fangio's tape?
Right.
There's no Sean Desai is going to have his own little twist on things.
Right.
So they don't know what's coming.
Right.
You know, and like you said, this is going to be the first time in a couple of years that possibly we see Khalil Mack at DN, for example.
Right.
They don't know what to do with that.
Right.
What you got to do? Go watch his film when he was a Raider?
Right.
That's a long time removed now.
Exactly.
So that's key number 2. And then key number 3, we mentioned it already, get David Montgomery going. We all know that he's a beast. Even with a not-so-good offensive line, whatever you want to call it, last year, he was still able to get over 1,000 yards. He had the 5th most rushing yards out of all running backs last year.
Right.
And that was with a bad offensive line.
Yep.
And I think maybe adding Jason Peters adds more experience. I was a Charles Leno guy. I like Charles Leno. But in some cases, if he stays healthy, Jason Peters, it could possibly be an upgrade. It just depends. I'm excited to see this offensive line. It's not much there, but I'm excited to see it.
Well, Jason Peters was a 9-time Pro Bowler.
That tells you something.
I get that he's 39, but age is nothing but a number.
Right.
You know, so that's what we're rolling with, man. We're rolling with him to protect Andy Dalton, and we're going to see what's going to happen.
Right. May surprise us.
You know?
May definitely surprise us, but this is obvious. You get David Montgomery going, and this is probably every team's plan. You get your running game going, then you're able to throw the football.
Right.
Not sure what's going to happen. And I just feel like David Montgomery's always going forward. I don't really ever see David Montgomery going backwards. So I'm excited to see David Montgomery. Obviously, he's pumped up. I think he's going to have a big season for the Chicago Bears.
Right.
And eventually, if this offensive line, can get going and they get better and better and they create that balance, I think that is obviously going to help David Montgomery and our other backs as well.
For sure.
So now we are moving on to our final prediction, and I'll let you start with your score prediction and who is going to win.
I don't know, man. I don't like doing this, but I'm going to go 27-24 Chicago.
27-24 Chicago. All right. I like it. I just think since there's so many unknowns, and like I said, I try to stay realistic. I'm always going to go for the Bears, obviously. There's no question on that. But since there's so many unknowns about this football team, and hopefully they can answer those questions in this game, I'm going to go 28-17 Rams. And the only reason why I think the Rams put up 28 points, because I feel like our defense is going to be out there too long. I need to see the offense not go 3 and out. I think the defense is going to come to play. I think they're going to get some turnovers, but you can't have our defense get you turnovers and then come out and go 3 and out.
Is that going to be enough?
Is that going to be enough? So the Rams have high expectations, and we don't know what's going to happen with the Bears. So 28-17. And like I say always, Bears fans, make sure you comment down below in the comment section and give me your guys' prediction for this game and let me know how you are feeling about the Bears taking on the Rams this Sunday night. Dad, like always, thank you for coming on to the podcast. It's a pleasure. The Bears fans love you.
I appreciate that.
Like every time I have you on, they're like, "Oh, that's Big Dog," whatever. I think you should create your own separate podcast just with you.
Nah, bro, man. I'm still trying to get used to this Apple phone.
It would be too much, but like always, it's a pleasure to have my dad on. He has his own different viewpoint. Obviously, we're both Bears fans, but we obviously think differently. He has his viewpoint, I have mine, but at the end of the day, we're both Bears fans. But before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Kick on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. And don't forget to use my promo code KOTM and go to MyBookie and make your bet for this weekend's game. But other than that, I'll be back for all new Bears podcast right here on Kick on the Mic. Thanks, guys.
You ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.